Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today in this video we'll be starting the backend video of this series. So till the previous video we have covered up all the front end part and the UI part of this car app. So I'm starting the backend from this particular video. So there will be around 10 to 11 parts of the backend series. So I hope you all people will enjoy this series and also show your support and love to this particular series. So after this backend series we'll be integrating the APIs into the front end and we'll be delivering this application to the open source, right? So now what you have to do, let me just make it this big so as you all people can see it. And now what you have to do, just do npm I and just do npm npm init and then -y. Just press the enter and it should generate one package.json file. So as you can see that it has generated one package.json file, right? So now in order to install some dependencies you have to install some packages. So let's install express. So npm I express, right? So as you can see, the moment I have installed the express, it is showing it into the dependencies along with the version, right? And also this is the node modules and it has some dependencies, as well as you could see this express inside it over here, right? So the another package which we need in order to run the server continuously, so that package will be npm I, which is nodemon -- saved -dev. So now this particular command -- save -dev, I want this nodemon to be generated into the dev dependencies, so not inside the dependencies. So the moment I press enter, so it should generate that for me. So as you can see that it has also mentioned the version of the nodemon. Right, now the next thing that we are going to need, which is the course. Okay, so let's install that, npm install course, right? So yeah, now the next thing which we need, which is the .env. okay, so we are going to create one .env file, and then all the backend URLs and all the Cloudinary credentials will be stored into that particular URL. So in order to have that, we have to use this particular package. So after this we are going to use the validator, which is express validator. Okay, so all the fields that we take during the sign up and during some particular forms that we need to validate, so in order to show that errors and to validate, we need this particular package. So let's install this. Also we need this package which is called bcrypt dot like bcrypt, yeah, something like this. And also we'll need the Cloudinary, so we'll be using the Cloudinary into this project, because we have been like using the images a lot, so we need to host it somewhere and we should get that URL so we can use it. So it will also give you the URL into the compressed one, so we can use large, small and medium. So also we'll be needing the JSON web token. So let me just do npm I, yeah, something like this. Also we need a package which is called multer, yeah. And we are going to use the database which is Postgres. So for that we are going to use one ORM. There are several ORMs exist, one is Sequelize, one is Prisma, and there are many more. So in this video I'm going to use it the Prisma, right? So let's install that Prisma. And also we are going to use the Stripe for the payment system, so let me install that as well. We also need one thing which is Prisma client, so let's install that. Yeah, so it has now successfully installed. So what we'll be doing, we'll be creating one index.js file in the root of the folder, so not in the node module. So come over here and click over here. So let's make one file which is index.js. okay, so yeah, in this file we'll write all the root directories code, and before that I want to write some scripts so that we can run our application. So write here one comma and write one start script. So the moment we write npm run start, so this script should get start. So we are going to write node src and then index.js. Okay, so something like this. So for that we'll have to make one directory which is src. So let's put this into this src, so that now it goes into the src directory, and then it checks for the index.js file. So after this we are going to make one script which is the tab script. So now here we are going to write nodemon. So nodemon src slash index.js. Okay, and also one script for the Prisma. So Prisma will be this npx Prisma and then generate, something like this. Also one script for Prisma, and then let me just write the migrate for all the migrations that we are going to run to migrate the columns into the Postgres database. So Prisma migrate, migrate, and then dev hyphen name and then init. Also we are going to seed some data. So for that we'll add one script for the seeding. So node hyphen prisma slash c.js. So we'll create one Prisma folder. Inside that there will be this c.js file. So before everything let's write some code which should be in the index.js. So I'm going to write the code for the express. So let's express from express, and then let's write some code. So I'm going to use the const app is equal to express. So express is a function, so we have this app now. Okay, so in order to like successfully run it on some port, we have to write app dot listen. So it will listen to the port. So we also have to write one port. So let me just write one port variable. So basically the port will be coming from the env file. Till then we'll be running it on the local host like 3000. So I want that the port should listen us on the 3000 port, and it will give us one callback. And here we'll write console.log, and I'll be writing server is running on, let me just write port. Okay, so we have written one small code, so that now it will run our application. So let's clear this. Let's start the script npm run. So if I just do npm run start, so it will use this script, which is node src index.js, and it has given some errors. So let me just figure it out. So if I just write the npm run dev, so the server will be constantly run. So if we have any like error, so it will just show us crash. The moment we fix that crash, then it will not show us that particular error. Okay, so now it is showing one error, which is this, that import a statement outside a module. So we are using the ES6 type of the imports. So in like Node.js we have to write the require in the require. If I just do a const express and then require, then it will not give us this error. So for that we have to tell explicitly that what we are using. So we have to define one type, and the type will be module. Okay, so the moment I just write this type module, so now it is showing that server is running on the port 3000. So now we have to test the API by writing one simple get method. So let's add that get and /, let's write one callback function, and over here we'll have one request and response. So we'll have to write one res dot the status. So status will be 200 and then send. So we'll check that if it's connected. So I'm just writing over here successfully API is running. something like this. And now let's see that if our get route is working or not. So let me just go to the localhost 3000 and /, yeah, successfully API is running over here. You can see that the API is now working fine. So even if I just type console.log hi, so it will print the moment I hit this route, this hi. So let me just remove it, as we do not need this right now. So yeah, this is it. So now what we have to do, you have to add this pgadmin 4, so install it into your machine. So let me just open it. The moment you have this pgadmin, so you should see that over here one server, right? So let me just show you. So I have this car rental this database over here. So already it is created, so I'm going to create another one. So let me just create another one, and this will be car app the car app YT. So let me just save it, something like this, and now you should say it car app YT. So let me just make it a little bit big so you can see it. So over here you have this schemas, so just open it, and the moment it gets open, you should see this tables column, right? So let's expand this. So as there are no tables exist in this, so there are no tables, so it is not showing anything. So as you can see, that arrow is coming up and on the right side. So there are no tables, so no tables are showing. So now what we have to do, let's add something which is app.use and then APIs. Okay, so app.use, and the use will be /API, and I'm going to make one folder into this src directory which will be called as routes. So inside this particular routes folder, I'm going to have one index route. So let me just add that, index.route.js. yeah, so let me just import this, import, let's name it all routes, and then from, and let me just add routes / index route.js. so let's add it over here. So what it basically do, that the moment we hit the localhost /API, then it will take us use all the APIs from this particular file. So now this is crashed. Let me check this. Yeah, I think we do not have anything inside this particular file, so that is the reason it is showing. As you can see that the requested module does not provide any name named export default, right? So let's go to the index.js and like create one default export. So let's call export default router. So now we'll add one router, const router is equal to express. Yeah, I think we have to import first, import express from express, and now express dot router. Yeah, so it is a function, so we have to call it, and now we'll add one route which is router dot use, and we'll add one route which is auth route. So now the route will become localhost 3000 /API /auth. So inside this I need the auth routes, so let's create the auth routes. Yeah, something like this, and over here we'll be creating auth route. So let's add the auth.route.js. so also create export default auth route, something like this, auth route. So now just add auth routes, so it will be adding the auth routes. So let's create .js, and let's come to the auth route. Over here what you have to do, let me just import something. So import express from express, and now you have to use the const router is equal to express dot router. Yeah, and now as you know that we are writing the sign up APIs first, the authentication API first. So we'll be writing the authentication APIs like the sign up and the login. So we have got some error which is auth routes is not defined. So it is the auth routes, and yeah, it is used over here. Yeah, in the auth route.js. Export default. Okay, so we had to defaultly export the router, not the auth route. So as you can see now it is using this, and yeah, and we are using the auth route from the index.route.js. So what we'll be doing now, we'll be making one post API. So let's add the router dot post. Okay, so this will be the post API, and so that API will be slash sign up, something like this. So this is the route of the API. So yeah, the argument will be, let me just add some function so that it will not crash. Yeah, so as you can see that we have successfully just added one route. It is not the fully functioning like the API, it is just a route. So before this we need to create some ORM. So that ORM which we are using which is Prisma. So let me just explain you what is the Prisma. Prisma is just basically one wrapper type. So all the you write the schema into that Prisma file. So it will be just when we run the command migration, like migrate dev, so it will use all the variables which we have defined along with its type, and it will create the table. And yeah, it is basically simpler to use and also easy to manage. So we need not to need to know the SQL for it. If we know the how it works and if we know some ORM, so yeah, we are good to go. So for that in the root of the directory, not in the src, let me just close it and just create the Prisma. Okay, so as you can see we have got this diamond type of icon. So you just have to install that Prisma that extension, so you can see that. So let's add the client.js. Inside the client, what we have to do is just import, and let me just import something from Prisma client. So over here we have to use Prisma client, okay, something like this, and just to export const and then Prisma, and over here new Prisma client, and then let's call it. So as you can see that we have now exported the Prisma, and so now what we have to do, we have to also use and consume this. Okay, so what it will do, we need to write the connect the database into this particular backend file. So also for that we need to write some configuration as well. So for that what we'll be doing, so now we have to use this Prisma client into the index.js. So over here I'm going to create one get API which is .app.get. so the moment user hits this forward slash, not the API, so I'm going to create one async function, async async, and then request dot, let me just write req, and then async. Yeah, now I can create request and then response. Yeah, something like this. So let me add this try catch block. So any error will be catch during the catch block, and then we have to show that error. Okay, so I'm going to show the error console.log that it is for the DB connection. So let me add just DB and DB connection error colon, and then just type error, something like this. And we need to also send it in the status. So the status will be 500, and let's send it 500 and then send, and let's add data database connection failed, something like this. And inside the try block, we need to add await. So we are waiting it. So let me just add Prisma. This will be from Prisma slash client.js, which is this file which we have created right now. So just add prisma.client and then dollar connect. Okay, something like this you have to write it. So like, now it is showing one error that Prisma client did not initialize yet. Please run Prisma generate and try to import it again. So before that, we also need to create one env file. So inside that env, we'll write all the database name and the password of that database. So let me add that env file. Let me add it over here, env, and over here we'll be writing one port. So in case we have to use the port from env, we'll be using it from that env. So let me add database url, database underscore url over here. Inside the double quote, we are going to write postgres and postgres sql. Okay, so it is not having the double s. Okay, so remember it. So let's add the colon and just write the name of your database. So in my case, the database name is let me just show you. In my case, the database name is car-app-yt. So you have to write just Postgres if you are using Postgres, and over here you have to write the password. In my case, my database password is 123456 at the rate the host, which is localhost, and over here the port number. In my case, the port number is 4533. In your case, it could be 4532 or 4533. Like 5433 or 5432. So let's add car-app yt. Okay, this is car app yt, the name of the database. And let me just add question mark and then schema, and the schema is public, something like this. And yeah, that's it. Also we need to add a JWT secret. So the moment we are sending the token, so we also need to provide one JWT secret. So in this case, I'm going to add one secret which will be car-rental like the underscore app, and then I'm going to just create 123, something like this. And this is it. We just needed to add these three things, which is the main is the database -url. So inside the Prisma folder, you have to create one file, and that file will be creating the schemas of the like tables. So let me add schema dot prisma, prisma. Yeah, so you should see this diamond icon over here, like to detect that if it is a Prisma file or not. Like some of you people might just give a space and then the icon will not appear. So this is also a good sign that the file is accurate and true. So let's add generator and generator client, and let's open up it something like this, and then write the provider, and inside this I'm going to write Prisma client-js, something like this. Also write it over here data source, and then data source will be db. Open up the the curly brace, just write the provider, and inside this the provider is let me write it into the double quote Postgres SQL, and without the comma, we are going to write the URL. So the URL will be env, and inside this env I'm going to have it the database URL. Yeah, so the database URL over here you can see, let me just search it. So you should find it into this env file. So it will take this env's database URL, which is Postgres SQL, and then Postgres, and the password of the DB, and then localhost, and then DB port, and then this particular database name, and then schema will be public. And the moment you have written this, let's come to the index.js file, and over there you should see something like this, prisma.connect, and the moment it's getting the connected, let's write rest.status, and the status will be 200. Let me just write it something like this, and then I write this send, and the moment we are writing the send, then write the database like connected successfully. Yeah, Now it is also showing us app is crashed. So let me just open the package.json and let me just show you that what we have to run. So it is also telling that the Prisma client is did not initialize yet, please run Prisma generate. So in this case we have to run this command. So let me just open it side by side. npm run Prisma, hit enter and let it generate. Yeah, now it has generated something like this. Let me just show you the error, like the what it has done. So it has generated one client for us. As you can see in the node module, Prisma client is generated. Start by importing your Prisma client and then want to react to the database changes in your app and then discover how with pulse. Okay, so yeah, now it is initialized. So let me just click something like this and now you should see server is running on port 3000. So let me just show you something that if the database is connected successfully or not. Now earlier it was successfully API running. If the database is not connected, it should throw us one error. Otherwise it should show one thing which is database connected successfully. As you can see, the database is now connected successfully. What is the next part that we have to do? So writing the schema for the Prisma client, right? So let's write this. So what we'll be now using, we'll be using this model from the Prisma and we'll keeping the name which is the user. So the sign up, all the data will be stored in the user table. So the table name is this user and all the sign in information it will check from the user table. So the table name will be user. So over here we are going to write one ID. So instead of colon, we do not need to give a colon. So the ID's type will be type of string. So let me just add the ID and it will be a default type. So default will be UUID. So it will generate a unique ID for at least more than 20 characters, a mix of alphabet and numbers. So it will generate automatically that if you are using UUID. And over here I'm going to write full name. So I'm going to take full name from the user. So that full name will be type of string. In the email it will be also type of string. So it will be a unique. Okay, so I'm writing the unique keyword. So in the Prisma, if we are writing the type as a string, so in the the database it will be stored as text or varchar. So let me just add password. So password will be type of string. Now the next will be country. So as you know that we are taking the country from the user, we are role. So we are also taking the role. There are role in this application which will be having multiple accesses. So the number one is the user, which will use the application, and the vendor, which will sell the cars and the accessories on the platform. Also there is one admin type. So in this case it will be a type of enum. So we have to write that over here. We have to define the role and we have to write it in this particular file. So let's write it. So enum and the type will be role, and let's add it in the capital case, will be user and then vendor and then admin, something like this. And now the moment we save the file, it should format. And now let me just write the next field, and the next field is phone. So phone will be type of string. So also there will be a one created at. So we need to have that stamp that when the user is created. So it will be a date time and it will be a default. Let me just add a space. So default will be now. So the moment it gets created, the time we need to have that. So also the updated at. So if the user is got updated, let's say profile picture, so we also need to have that date time. So let me add that updated at. So it is not going to take now. Okay, so let me also add one car. So the car will be because it is associated with the user. So let me just add it in the later part. So yeah, that's it. So in order to sign in and sign up, we need to have this particular table inside the database. As you know that we have created one model of a user, so we need these fields in the table. Let me just show you the Postgres table. So this is my Postgres table, car-app-youtube. So let me just refresh it and let me just show you the table. So there is no tables, right? So let's run the migration now. So let me show you that package.json. So over here, you can see that the migrate command, which is the npx prisma migrate dev -n name init. Okay, so let me just run it, something like npm run prisma migrate, and yeah, let me just prisma npm run prisma migrate, and now it should migrate it. Okay, over here let me just show you, yeah, so now you can see that the following migrations have been created and applied from the new schema. So you can see that there is one folder which is generated, which is this folder. What is it? It is this particular number like underscore in it, and then .sql. Let me just open this file for you so you can see. So what it does basically, that when we write one model in the .prisma file and then we run the prisma migrate command, which is this command, which is, let me just show you, which is this command migrate.dev, it will auto generate one folder with along with the some number. So it basically keeps the track as git, keeps the track of the files that we make some changes or the stage or just commit. So something like this, it just have the watch over this folder. So anything, like suppose I just change the type of this full name, instead of string I just make it a type of, let's say number or date time. So it will just come over here and make another file of the migration.sql, and it will just update this particular column of that particular table. So yeah, it has also created one enums, which is user vendor admin, as we have written it somewhere over here, and also the fields that we are going to need. So I hope that you have got to know that what is the benefit of using the ORM such as like Prisma. You need not to know the SQLs deeply. It will automatically do the joins and things. You just have to know how basically joins and the foreign key primary key works. So in this particular one file you are going to write all the tables models, and it will keep generating these things, and also this log file, so they are also giving you a warning that please do not edit this file manually. So now let me just close it, something like this, and now let's go to the data. You can see that user table over here, right? So let me just open it for you. Yeah, so let's go to the all rows. So yeah, let me just tell you that you have to click the right click if you're on the touchpad. So just double click on that touchpad and just go to the view and just all rows. So the moment you click on the all rows, you should see that the table, the table is ID, full name, email. You can also see the type. The ID is PK. PK means that primary key, right? Full name is a type of text, email is a text, password. So the type which we have written the string, so it has stored it as a text, okay, not the varchar. So the country is type of text, role is type of role. So it is basically enum, which is defined over here, as I have shown it over here. And in the migration, the enum is a type of something like this, a role type as a enum. Okay, so let me just go to the this database table. So phone is a type of text and created at and updated at. So as you can see what we have learned, we have created the database, we have created the Prisma file, we have migrated the model, which is the user, into the database, and we have like connected everything and whatever we needed to like make the backend work. So I hope you have got till this point. If you have any kind of query like my database is not getting connected, Postgres is not getting opened, or it is not getting migrated, so just comment down below. And also let me just show you that we have something which is called as Discord group. This Discord group, you have to come over here and then you have to join this Mukesh dev squad over here, that people are commenting, and then they're writing their queries so that that queries get solved. So I'm doing this all so you people do not have any kind of issues while doing the back end stuff, or either it is a front end stuff. So this all things are only for you. Yeah, that's it. So let's make the another API. Another API means the first API. So till now we have just made this API and this slash route. So let's go to the auth route, and over here we are going to write one auth API. Okay, so everything will be structured, not in the hurry. So we are not in the hurry, we are just going as per the you people. So let's write something which is the controller. In this node we have something which is called as controller. So it is a kind of function which basically does some operations using the ORMs or anything that we are using. So let's write that. So let me just write sign up, sign up, up controller, something like this. Okay, so now it should give us one error. That error will be that the sign up controller, I'm not able to recognize this, it's not even defined. So let me just create another folder, and the folder's name will be controllers, something like this. And over here I'm going to like keep the name which is very generic, so that name should be get to recognize by the you people. So it should be not like a sign up controller or a auth controller. Like, no, it is going to be auth controller, but not like sign up controller or login controller. So auth is a very generic name. So let me just write auth dot, not just JS, but let me add this controller.js. So yeah, it is now showing that setting icon over here. So let me just write the export const. It will be a simple JavaScript function, ES6 function. So let me just add sign up controller and then asynchronous. Okay, so it will be a async function. If you not going to write the async keyword over there, so things will not work. So let me just add it, and let me just add request and then response. Okay, so the request will contain all the requests which user is sending, including the headers, including the body, and the response which that request will have. So we can send that as a response to the error response or success response methods that we have created or we are going to create. So let me just add try block over here and the catch with the error, and let me just add the const user, and the user let me just use that await keyword, and let me just add sign up. So yeah, now till here we have created sign up controller, but what we'll be doing, we'll be creating a service file, a service folder separately in order to write and read from the database or do some operations out of this controller. So I'm going to create one folder, and that folder will be a services. Okay, so the services will be a folder, and it will be doing all the operations in the database. So till now let's keep it something like this, and we are going to use that service function over here. So it will just only give the response, and we can just send the data to that service, the request bodies data. So let me just add one file into this service. So let me write auth.service.js. so inside this it will be a function, a JavaScript function. Let me add it something like this, but it will not be a controller. So let me just name it something different. So let me just keep the name simple, which is sign up service. Okay, so any function which we are writing, we also have the suffix to that function, which is if it is a service or it is a controller. So in this case it is a service, so I'm not going to have this try catch over here, but it will be asynchronous, and it will have some parameters which will be destructuring. Okay, so either we can just take data and then we can destruct from that data, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take full name. So just keep it silent, and just analyze that what we require from the user out of that sign up API. If you just go to the Prisma and just go to the Prisma schema, so we need from user, do we need ID from user? Definitely not. That user, how can user give us ID if it's new? So we need a full name, email, password, country, role, phone number. That's it. All other fields, which are almost 6 fields. So we need these 6 fields from particular user. So for that what we'll be doing, just go to the service file and go to the email, just write the email over here, and password. Just don't worry, the moment I just write this code, I'm going to explain it one by one. So let me add a country, and also let me add a role. So the default, I'm not going to give a user to pick one role, because it's a client application. I'm going to keep it a user as a default. The choosing action, like the choosing of that role will be, having the control to the admin. So only admin can assign a role which will be a vendor or to the vendor specific people. So let me just add a phone number. So like something like this. Okay, so I have destruct everything from the data which I'm going to send it from the request.body from the controller function. So over here, like think about it, like if a user has an email 1@gmail.com and that user has done the sign up, are you going to do the sign up again to that 1@gmail.com? Definitely not, right? So you need to check first that what is the unique. A name can't be unique, it can be, uh, same for everybody. Let's suppose someone is a Max from America, the Max can be also residing in Australia, so we cannot check via main like name. We cannot also check via phone, although phone is unique, but there are some constraints like the country code and all of those things. So there is only one thing that is the unique in this case, which is the email. Email can't be unique. Okay, already Gmail is having uniqueness, so we are just going to check that if the email is existing. So exist thing await something like this, and then just call the Prisma and just call it from the Prisma client, which is the file that we have written over here. Okay, so Prisma and then dot user. Okay, now what is the specialty of Prisma? So the moment I am typing the dot, it is giving us the method which is connect and disconnect and all of these things, and along with the table which we have created. If we have the table which is called as cars, so it will also suggest that car table. So if I just type the user, then it will give us some methods. So what are the methods? There are some methods which is count, create many, delete many fields, and find many. So what we have to do, we have to like use this method, which is, let's use the find many. So in this case I'm going to add one object which is where, or the where keyword. So I'm going to pass the email into it, that's it. So if it is existing, if it is the email which is existing in this Prisma user table, it's going to give us this existing object. So if it is existing, I'm just going to just throw a new error, and just with the error email already exist, something like this. Okay, so it's going to give us error because sign up control is not defined. Okay, so in this case, which is just blank. And over here, what I'm going to do, as you know that we are using JSON, the bcrypt. So let me just do a hash password. Okay, let me just do it hashed password, so it goes to the past tense, and then await, and then bcrypt, bcrypt.hash, and then password, and then this 10. Okay, so what we are doing, we are just passing this password to this hash function. Okay, so bcrypt is not imported. Let me just import it for you. Bcrypt from bcrypt.js, as well as the jwt for the sign up case, sign in case. Okay, so let me just add jwt from JSON web token. Okay, so now this password. Okay, so why I have used this bcrypt.hash? So in case, suppose my name is Mukesh, right? So if I just write Mukesh and then just write the 007, so I'm not going to keep that password in my database. I'm going to keep it in a hashed way. So that password will be hashed and it will be saved into the database. So every time user write my name, let's suppose I write Mukesh 007 and I do just sign in, again it will check for that hashed password after hashing my password, and then it will check into the database that if it is saved or not. If it finds, then good to go, you're in. Otherwise it will just throw you out of the it will just throw you the error. So over here I'm going to just return the await, and just write Prisma dot, it is giving us one table which is user, and it's having some method. So in this case we are going to use this create, and it is a function and accepts one object. So let's write data, and over here I'm just going to write full name, email, and then password. In this case we are going to use hashed password, and then country, as well as the role. In this case if we are not going to pass it role, the role will be user by default, as well as the phone number. The phone is string because we are going to pass it with the country code, so it will store it in the string format. Yeah, that's it. Whatever the information which we are getting from the sign up service, we are just going to return it, right? And we are just going to create it into the users table. So now come to this auth controller. Okay, so let's go to the auth controller, and now this await keyword is there, so just call the sign up. Okay, sign up service, just go to the auth service and just see that if you have, yeah, we have exported this. So let me just write it something like this, and yeah, let's import it something like this. Just pass the request dot body. So whatever we are getting from the request dot body, we need that. Okay, so now all of the response that we are getting from the user, so we'll be getting everything in this user, this variable. So what we will be getting, we will be getting all this data from the return. Whatever we are storing in the database, we are returning it. Okay, so in this case we can also do something, that we can just tell that that prisma dot create, and then we can return everything we needed. In this case, let's suppose I'm going to need a full name only, I'm going to need only email, so we can do something like this as well. But in this case I'm not going to do like this. I'm going to return everything, and I'm going to destruct something from over here. So in this case I'm going to destruct password, and also dot 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 user info. Okay, and from user. Okay, so user info and from the user. So this is the variable which will contain all the information from whatever we are returning over here. But in this case I'm not going to show the password to the this user. So if I am successfully signed up in my application and I have put some password while sign up, so I'm not going to give that a password as a response to that API. Except password, I'm going to return all the things during the sign up along with the message. So that's why I have destruct this password, which I'm not going to throw to that user. Only this user info. Anything you can just keep it name as a data, and that will be also fine. So if it is having some error, so we are we are showing that or throwing that error to the user. So now there is some catch, and that catch is that we have to create some service, and that service will be called as response service. Let me just create it, because the moment we are throwing some error on the user, I'm going to use that service, which is the the error response service. And the moment user does the sign up, we are also going to use that. So over here I'm going to create response.service.js, and over here just type export cons success response. Okay, and over here I'm going to, it is a function basically, so I'm going to get the response and the data. It will be a type of object as well as the message, and the message as well, it is a success response service, so by default it will be success. And the status, so as you know that every API which has the the success response, the code is 200 by default. Let me just write it something like this, status, and just write it a function, and just return this response, because whatever the response we are getting, we are going to send it status along with the status, the status code, which is 200, and then JSON, and then we are going to write one success key, success, and in this case not triple S, it is double S, just true, and then message, whatever the message we are going to pass. In this case it is success, and the data, whatever the data we are going to pass it. So as well as let me just add is equal to, yeah, as well as we are going to write one error service, error response, yeah, something like this. Yeah, in this case when it has the error, the status code will be 500, and there will be a message. So the message will not be, we are not going to pass it from the parameters. So let me just write to console.log, and then it will have error, and along with the error which we are getting, the error, we have to get the response and not the data but the error. Yeah, something like this. and over here I'm going to write one by default message, something like this, and then type of error. If the type of error is type of string, then I'm going to show the error. Otherwise error will be a type of message, because sometimes the errors are in the type of object and then the message contains the message. Or else if we do not have the both things, then I'm going to write the something went wrong. Yeah, something like this. So what we have to do in this sign up controller, we have to return something. So now let's write the return, and then let's write success response. Okay, so it is not detecting. Let me just see. Yeah, it should detect. So let me just write, yeah, something like this, and just pass the response which we are getting, and then user info which we have destruct, also the message which is in this case user created. Let's keep the ccapit small, and over here instead of this return, I'm going to return this error response. Over here I'm going to add the response and as well as with the error. Okay, something like this. So the API is now ready. But it is now showing some error in the auth controller, that sign up controller is not defined. So let me just write sign up signup. Okay, so let me just copy paste it, so it will be easy for us. Yeah, sign up controller is not defined. Yeah, now it is defined. So now cannot find module. Okay, so let's go to the auth controller, and instead of just this, just write this along with the extension which is JS. So also auth controller.js, also go to the service, and over here Prisma client dot, yeah, everything is good now. Cannot find module controller auth controller imported from authroute.js. Okay, so we also have to write over here, and now cannot find module Prisma client, because Prisma client is also JS type, so we have to write .js. Yeah, now the server is running perfectly fine. So now what we will be doing, let's go to the auth route. So we have to check this route. Okay, so let's go to the postman, and let's write this is the post API. So let's write API, because in the root of the directory over here we have write the API, right? API slash auth. So API slash auth. First of all, let's see if it is working. So now it is showing one error, that 404 not found. So let's debug the reason for it. So let's see that port is running on the port 3000. Auth route sign up. We have to write auth and then this sign up. Okay, now it is giving one error which is false, cannot destruct property full name, because what we have done, we have not passed anything right now. So it tried to go to the service file and just try to destruct this, but as we have not passed any data, so it is throwing one error. And now that error is this full name of undefined, as it is undefined. So this message is getting shown because we have this error response service, so we are passing everything over here. So the message over here which is this error, if error is coming, otherwise error dot message or something went wrong. So in this case the error would be coming in the form of object or string. Got it? So let's write the things which we need. So in this case I'm going to need all of these things, so let's put one by one. So let me add a full name. So the username will be John Doe, and the email gmail.com, password. Okay, country India. I'm not going to give a role from this, and then phone number will be plus 91 anything. Yeah, so now these are the things which we are going to need. Okay, in this case the phone number validation, we are going to use it from the express validator. I'm going to apply the validation over there, as well as the phone validation will be applying over there. So let's hit the API. We are passing the full name, and it is also showing one error. Okay, so let's see full name of undefined. Let me just hit it again. Okay, let's save the file and now hit the API. Still cannot destruct property full name of undefined. Okay, so how to figure this out? So let's see, by printing it request dot body. Let's see what we are getting from the request dot body. So undefined, so we are getting undefined from the request dot body. So let's see what is the reason for that. So let's go to this particular file, which is index.js. And so now, as you know that we are getting one error. So to fix that error, we have to use the app.use, and over here we get the request and then response, and this which is this next keyword. So what we have to do, we just have to return this and just add the express and then .json, and just call it like request and then response dot next. So if we are doing like this, so it will pass this to the next request. So let me just go to the postman. Cannot destruct property full name. So let's see. Yeah, so what we have to do, we just have to cut this and just make sure that it is under this app.use. So let's create now let's send the request. So yeah, so now it is working, but it's giving one error, which is email already exists. But in this case that we have not created any user before this, so we should not get this error. So let's go to the service and the controller, and then just go to the service. Yeah, that we are getting this error. So yeah, so the fix is that we are using find many. So find many will return one array, because it's going to find many users out of this table, along with whoever having the same email address. So instead of this, I'm going to use the find unique. Okay, so we just need the unique one, which is having this particular email. So in this case, it should return the object. So let's send the request. Yeah, so we have got one error, which is that expected argument role. Okay, got it. So as we know that we are using the enum in the role, if you go to the Prisma, and over here we are using the role, which is user vendor admin. So in this case, I'm passing the small user. So instead of this, we need to just pass the whole capital case user. So let's send the request here. So we are getting this message true, user created, and that data, which is just UUID, John Doe, email, country, name, password, and created at updated. Let's go to the Postgres. Let's refresh the table. So just go to the view edit all rows, and yeah, we have successfully inserted it into this table. So yeah, that's it. So in this next video, what we'll be doing, we'll be adding the validator into this auth route. Over here we'll be adding that express validator. So before even making the request, we are going to check that if we are having the exact parameters from the user. So yeah, after this we'll be making the JSON web token for the login API, and then we'll moving forward to the relations of the these tables. Till then, bye bye, happy, stay safe, and be happy, because there is no reason to be sad. And just comment down below and just write whatever your thoughts on this video. Yeah, that's it.